I'm curious, at receiver, how stretched do you feel? Obviously, Hyatt and Collins made their mistakes yesterday. How stretched do you feel? That was the first game without Neighbors, and it looked like you guys had to pretty much revamp the offense to go with tight ends.
Yeah, I got a lot of confidence in our receiving group and Coach Groh and putting those guys out there and getting them prepared for the game. And I think based on how the game kind of declared itself, those guys were in the mix, and we had some opportunities, just didn't capitalize on them.
Mike, how hard is it to get guys up to speed, like guys who maybe – I think about your first year here when you guys were able to just bring guys in. Hodgins comes to mind, guys who just came in and got up to speed and made an impact really quickly. Is that feasible, or is that a one-off that you're just better off going with the guys in-house?
No, I think that's one of the things our coaching staff does. It's a strength of ours is getting guys prepared and getting guys ready to go for the game. Whether you're on the roster or whether you're in the practice squad, those guys are dialed into it. They're in the installations, they're in the meetings, in the walkthroughs, and just trying to stay ahead of schedule.
And then from a running back standpoint, Mike, what have you seen from Scattaboo these last couple days, and how much would getting Tracy back kind of maybe go back to the way it was supposed to be with a backfield by committee?
Yeah, I've been really impressed over those last few weeks of where Scat has done and how he's played. The energy, the toughness that he's brought. I really like that. Obviously, he'd love to have that fumble back yesterday, which I know is killing him. But I was very pleased with how he's been playing. He's been out there. He's been playing tough with his protector responsibilities, blocking. Then obviously as a runner, finishing runs downhill, the aggressiveness that he brings. I think that's been a great asset for our offense.
Last one for me, Mike. The flea flicker. What'd you see?
Yeah, I think it was. He had an opportunity. He had an opportunity there. We just didn't make it. I think those are the ones that you wish you had back. And I certainly know Slayton wants that one back, and Jackson wants that one back as well. But we were being aggressive at that point in the field, at that point in the game, and we just didn't get it done. And I think those guys are going to be. I know they're kicking themselves on the airplane, and they'll come back stronger because of it.
Thanks.
Evan Barnes.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Evan.
Just going with the two tight end set last game, just kind of what did you see from that? Obviously, it worked pretty well, but just going forward, how confident are you with Belly and Theo just being able to continue to execute in that role?
I have a lot of confidence in those guys. They're veteran guys that have done a really good job in really the run game, the pass game. Quarterbacks have a lot of confidence in them to do the right thing and kind of be where they're supposed to be, whether it's man or zone. So I have a lot of confidence in those two guys, and even getting Manhertz in the mix or Fedoni, like that whole room is built really cool, and it's that they all complement each other a little bit. So I have a lot of confidence in those guys.
I know it's often said, tight end is a young quarterback's best friend, and you probably can relate to that. Just how much do you see that Dart-Theo connection these last two games working really well? Obviously, Dart has all three TDs to Theo.
Yeah, Jackson's had some opportunities for Theo, and Theo's capitalized on them. I think that's been the biggest part is when the balls come his way, Theo's made those contested catches, made those catches for us. He made a hell of a catch last week, in the red zone on a third down. The ball was a little bit behind him, but he made a nice strong catch. So I think as you just build more confidence with the guys, the more reps you get, whether it's the tight ends or any of the really position groups, but the more reps you get and more time on task with these guys, the more comfort you'll have.
All right, thanks.
Mark Cannizzaro.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
Appreciate you doing this. With regard to Jackson, obviously you knew of this quality of him, prior to yesterday. But yesterday was his first, real bit of adversity, if you will, and he was highly accountable in the locker room and kind of in front of us. I'm curious as to what's your reaction when you see such a young guy kind of getting it that quickly, and what's the importance to that to the rest of the room?
I think it's important when the quarterback, the leader of the room is taking accountability and ownership. At the end of the day, it's like I always say this, it's an 11-man operation on offense. It's never just one person. Certainly the quarterback, they're going to get the praise when everything's going well. They're also going to get kind of the blunt of it when it's not going so well. And I appreciate that from our quarterback room. I appreciate that from Jackson taking accountability. But, us as coaches, we're arm in arm with these guys, right? We're arm in arm with them, whether we win, whether we lose. And I think we're all in this thing together. And then when we're on the field, it's an 11-man operation. Everyone's accountable to one another and their assignments and their execution. And when you go and you execute at a high level, then you get the results you want. And when you don't, then you typically don't get the results that you're looking to get. So I think as a group, we're working through it. Obviously it's a tough game, but it's a short turnaround now. So we got a division rival coming up. We got a game in a couple days here. We got to hit the reset button, get back refocused, and get our bodies back and healthy and refocused in on the task at hand.
There's obviously be a lot of eyes on him to see how he bounces back, even though obviously it was hardly only him yesterday. But how do you see him reacting given what you know about his makeup, particularly as you mentioned, such a short week?
Yeah, I'm excited for the response, not from just Jackson, but from the entire offense, and I think that's going to be the exciting part. Again, on a short week, so I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys respond. They come in tomorrow with the right frame of mind. I know they will. We got the right guys in there, and I'm excited to see them respond.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
Jordan Renan.
Hey, Mike, what's going on?
Hey, Jordan.
How much different was things for you in the offense without Malik, right? To have that sort of guy that you can go to at all times, and how much did it change stuff for you, process-wise, and even play calling?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this a little bit last week with Malik, and we're hoping, wishing for him a speedy recovery. But the guys that we have a lot of confidence in, and whether it's Slay, Jalen, Wandell, Bo, you can just go down up and down the list of the guys that are out there. Like they have opportunities. We just got to capitalize on them. And I know we've had those two ones with Slay. I know he's beating himself up about it, and that's the kind of competitor he is. And he holds himself to a high standard just like we do here. And so I don't want to single just Slay out. Everyone had a piece of it, and every single group had their one or two plays that we could have done better. And same for me as a play caller, I could have done better as well. So it's full accountability. We're arm in arm. We'll get it cleaned up. We'll get it fixed, and then we'll get back on track and put together a good game plan, a good week of work today and tomorrow.
What about for Jackson, though? Like for a quarterback, that you don't have that guy. That Malik is a very, very high level player. That you don't have that guy. You can say, what, we need to play here. I'm going to go to this guy.
I'd say Jackson. I don't want to speak for Jackson, but I have a lot of confidence in our skill group. I have a lot of confidence in our tight end room, and our running back room, and our O-line room. So everyone's just got to step up, regardless of what happens, whether it's an injury or whether it's just the game and the part of the season. Everyone needs to continue to step up and make their plays and go out and execute. We talk about it in offense all the time. It's an 11-man operation. So if there's one piece that's off, then typically the play is not going to go really the way you want it. So we got to do a better job just getting on the same page, going out there and executing. And I think we will, because we've got a lot of good players and a lot of good coaches on this group.
I don't think we asked you, what did you make of the 5 straight turnovers? When you went back and looked at it, how do you make sense of that?
Yeah, it's certainly an unfortunate series of events. I don't think I've ever been around that it's happened, but it did. We got to get it cleaned up. We got to be really good and disciplined with our ball security. We got to be really good and disciplined with the decision-making part of it. And, as a coach, that's something I take great pride in, being able to detail that stuff out. So whether it's the drills, whether it's the film work, we got to continue to ramp that up and put our guys in those positions so that we can see it.
I'll ask you one more here. When you have a guy like Jackson, teams now have a chance to see him. How much do you expect them to try to take away his legs and his ability to, sort of improvise on the fly?
Yeah, I'm certain there'll be some sort of element as he gets more time on task and more games under his belt. There'll be some kind of adjustments, things that they could possibly do, whether it's certain fronts or certain coverages. I've seen in my past, we've seen our past, we have to have those adjustments ready to go if they do jump into it. And that's kind of where we're at right now. It's a short week with the Eagles, and under first off getting together with their scheme and what they're doing with their personnel and how they're kind of setting things up over these last few weeks. Now putting our stuff together with how we made it out of last week with our players and our coaches, and just get everyone on the same page. So we got a long way to go. We still got a couple days here to get ready and prepped, but I'm confident. I'm ready to go and get our guys back in the building.